Alexander the Great was one of history's most remarkable figures. Born in 356 BCE in Macedon, he would go on to change the world forever. From a young age, Alexander showed signs of greatness. His father, King Philip II, saw great potential in his son and prepared him for leadership. Alexander was curious and eager to learn, dreaming of becoming a great warrior. Even as a child, he showed a natural talent for leadership. As Alexander grew older, his reputation began to spread. People talked about the young prince who tamed wild horses and outsmarted his teachers. Alexander would go on to become one of the most famous conquerors in history. He led armies across vast distances and built an empire from Greece to India. Alexander's life was short but filled with adventure and achievement. His story continues to inspire people today, thousands of years after his death. Alexander's education was fit for a future king. His father, King Philip II, hired the best tutors, including the philosopher Aristotle. For 3 years, Aristotle taught Alexander about science, philosophy, and literature. These lessons shaped Alexander's mind and gave him a love for knowledge. But Alexander's education wasn't just about books. He also learned the art of war from his father. King Philip was a brilliant military commander, and Alexander watched and learned. At 16, Alexander was left in charge of Macedon and proved his capability. He led an army to put down a rebellion, showing his skill as a military leader. This early success made people believe Alexander was destined for greatness. As he grew into a young man, he continued to impress those around him. His education had given him the knowledge and skills to pursue his dreams. The world was about to witness the rise of one of history's greatest conquerors. Alexander's path to the throne was sudden and unexpected. In 336 BCE, his father, King Philip II, was assassinated, and Alexander became king. Many thought Alexander was too young and inexperienced to rule, but Alexander proved them wrong with swift action and clever politics. He secured his position as king and dealt with those who opposed him. He reasserted Macedonian control over Greece through brilliant military campaigns. Alexander inherited his father's plan to invade the Persian Empire. He gathered a large army and prepared for the greatest adventure of his life. In just 2 years, he had gone from prince to king to leader of a vast military expedition. As he stood on the shores of the Hellespont, ready to cross into Asia, his real test was just beginning. The world watched and waited to see what this young conqueror would do next. Alexander's invasion of the Persian Empire was a gamble that paid off spectacularly. With an army of about 40,000 men, he crossed into Asia in 334 BCE. The Persians, led by King Darius III, had a much larger force, but Alexander was a military genius, using clever tactics to win victory after victory. At the Battle of Issus in 333 BCE, he defeated Darius and sent the Persian king fleeing. Alexander treated the people of conquered lands with respect, often adopting their customs. He founded new cities, the most famous being Alexandria in Egypt. Alexander's greatest challenge came in India. In 326 BCE, he led his army across the Hindu Kush Mountains into the Punjab region. He faced fierce resistance from local rulers, notably at the Battle of Hydaspes River. Alexander won, but at a great cost, and his men wanted to go home. The return journey was hard, losing many men to the harsh conditions of the Gedrosian Desert. In 323 BCE, at the age of just 32, Alexander fell ill and died in Babylon. His empire, the largest the world had yet seen, would not survive him intact, but his legacy would live on for centuries to come. Alexander's life was a testament to ambition, courage, and determination. Alexander's conquests changed the face of the ancient world. He created an empire that stretched from Greece to India, bringing diverse cultures into contact. This led to the Hellenistic age, where Greek culture spread and mixed with local traditions. New ideas in art, science, and philosophy flourished in this multicultural environment. Greek became the common language of government and trade across much of the Mediterranean and Middle East. Many of the cities Alexander founded, like Alexandria in Egypt, became important centers of learning and culture. Alexander's conquests also had a big impact on trade and economics. His empire connected regions that had previously had little contact, opening up new trade routes. The gold and silver from Persian treasuries that Alexander distributed stimulated economic growth. Alexander's life and deeds became the stuff of legend, inspiring countless works of art and literature. His name would never be forgotten. Alexander the Great's place in history is secure. Over 2,000 years after his death, he remains a famous figure of the ancient world. His military genius is still studied today. His vision of a united world was ahead of its time. Alexander showed what one person with ambition and talent could achieve. His conquests caused great suffering and loss of life. He respected local cultures and blended Greek and Eastern traditions. His conquests spread Greek culture, influencing art and thought for centuries.